Yo, guys, welcome back to another YouTube live stream. It's me, mrjayowhy. Hope you're having a awesome day. How are we doing on this fine Friday night? I believe it's Friday. I hope it's Friday anyway. But how are we guys doing? How are we doing, chat? How's it going? Right, let's have a butchers at the Fortnite item shop. Obviously, K-pop Demon Hunters are in the shop. Oh my god, let's go. Typical, how's it going? Remy, Zoe, and Myra. We got Overmoon, that's new. Don't know what song this is. No idea. Dance, I suppose, looks cool. So, there's that. There's that. Today's bestsellers, obviously, K-pop Demon Hunters would be, you would imagine it. That skin, attraction. Oh yeah, right. This is back. I already own it. I already own it. Where's the new Eevee skin? Probably got out. I'm probably rotated out by now. Who knows? What on earth was that? OG Frog will be removed next update. Rapid Snipes, how's it going? How's it going? Well, that's actually probably the first topic of conversation. Let me notify the Discord because this is rather late, but I've got some things to talk about. And then you might have missed it, but honestly, the item shop's ridiculously massive nowadays. So honestly, there was a while where I thought something had rotated out, but it was just hidden. But I do think you may have missed it. Unfortunately, I don't even think I got it. Did I get it? No, it doesn't look like it. Does not share? What's going on here? What do you think? It's a crew skin? Nah, it's alright. It's alright. It's a-okay. It's a-okay. Right, so what we're going to have a chat about today is taxes and jobs. No. Alright, okay. How are you doing, chat? You're having a good day? Okay, well, there it is. There it is. Okay. There's a remix one in the works now. Whenever bring back the high stakes yeah, I guess that's what you're referring to. There is some new high stakes skins that were in a survey. Jack, how's it going? I'm so glad the coup will remain purple. It just looks better. Okay, whatever. I have default Halsey and Johnny. Yeah. Right. Okay, no, hold on. What did I say in my video yesterday? What did I say? What did I say? Oh, it's Birmingham against Wrexham, was it today? It's the A-listers against A-listers. Okay. Okay. No, probably not rapid. You're probably right there. You're probably right. You're probably right, unfortunately. Do I? I guess you just can't put a high stakes club in to see what... No. Search is really weird on Fortnite. Like, what specific thing do you have to search for if you don't know the name of something? You can search up colours, can't you? Yeah. But you can't search up... Can you search up factions? Well, you can search up kind of, because it's set names, isn't it? Oh, yeah, I feel like I might need to do something to search. Yeah, I don't know if I got any of them. Oh wow, I got... Oh no, I got one. Oh yeah, it was really sick trailers. Yeah, I didn't... Yeah, you know what? Yeah, I do remember getting that now. I do remember. Oh yeah, there is a new one. Don't know who it is though. But I remember reading in someone's description going, "Oh, High Stakes Club." Bloody hell. So yesterday we saw the release of Chapter OG Season 6, and some people weren't happy, and many people were disappointed with the fact that Fortnite didn't promote the season, the fact there was a multitude of bugs and stuff, and we're not talking about the ones that just got removed from Chapter 6. But Fortnite have come out in the last hour, I believe, and this is what they had to say, so we're going to read through it. Putting the OG back in OG. Oh, I wish someone told me that. Putting the OG back in OG Season 6. We've seen your feedback coming in towards the end of OG Season 5. Only OG Season 5. Like, I haven't been to Atlas mode, obviously because of what they've been doing in terms of storyline. Who knows where that is now. But yeah, I feel like people have been outspoken since the beginning of OG, or at least season 3, I think. But anyway, and season 6 fell a bit short of the classic Fortnite experience we all remember and have been excited to play again. Let's talk about some things we are doing. So, Fortnite's had a weird year because I feel like their communication has been good and better than previous years, but also at the same time, they do let the ball drop occasionally. And it's pretty substantial, so it's a lot more highlighted when they do drop the ball than when they actually do communicate very well, which they have done pretty well this year. So, yeah, well, there's that. So, moving end storms. We're restoring storm values closer to the original Chapter 1 at the Season 6 experience. That means moving zones are tighter circles in the end game. Rotation should feel similar to 2018 again. I honestly can't remember 2018 and how zones worked. I think Season 6 was my first full season, so I did not know any different. So, but yeah. I mean, back originally, everything felt tense. So, although now I'm a player that's been playing 8 years, so I guess we wait and see how it feels. Nerfed shotgun swapping. aka double pump. This is an interesting one, and it's what we assumed Fortnite were doing with double pump, but we have removed the ability to swap between shotguns without a cooldown. We kept shotgun swaps around longer to enable for fun double pump gameplay, as it was one of the things they first kind of brought in when OG came about, and I actually did think they would be keeping it for the entirety, but they've heard the concerns from the community and some of the new weapons that are coming into later in Chapter 1 or Chapter OG. So last season, I think you had the double pump and the pump. So them two together was just an issue. So obviously, given that, they're returning shotgun fights to feel authentic to the OG experience, so double pump is gone. Usually crossfade, but I would have to disagree with it this year. This year they have communicated some things pretty well, and others not so well. OG weapon balancing. The minigun has been unvaulted. We also adjusted pump shotguns and hand cannons to match the OG feel. Does that mean break a build with one shot? I've not really enjoyed hand cannons since that change was made, regardless of OG feeling. That was the biggest L for hand cannons. Chests were fixed yesterday and should no longer have a chance of missing weapons. Yeah, some chests open to missing weapons yesterday. Pistol bullet spread was fixed in yesterday's patch. Not really noticed. I didn't notice it anyway. Forgeable rebalance. Apples and mushrooms now restore 5 HP instead of 10. Not the biggest issue in the world if that was 10, but it is what it is, see? Havoc Stones rebalance. We have reduced how much damage to structures you deal while under the Havoc Stone effect, or Nitro. And these should feel more fair now. We also reduced the Havoc effect duration from 45 seconds to 30 seconds. I'm going to say I don't really... I kind of like this as an item, but I don't know if I would prefer the Ghost Shadow Rocks or whatever they were called. And they're definitely the better of the two. The original. So this is a big one for me, and Todd has just said the same thing, or is saying apparently you can fly with the quad crashes next week, and I hope we can. So yeah, it seems like from the word in here as well, that is correct. We're bringing back everyone's favourite unintentional flying vehicle in next week's 37.50 update. And hopefully it flies how it did originally. I know you could still use them in Party Royale, and they were awful. And when they came back, whenever they did, I can't remember what season they came back. I want to say Chapter 4, but maybe not. Maybe Chapter 3. Maybe it was Chapter 3. I don't know, but they just weren't the same. Not enjoyable. So hopefully we can fly across the map. If not, then don't have them in. That would be my opinion. Some of the bugs we're squashing in future updates, so these are not happening yet. Reducing the fog that's reappeared on the island after the recent change. That's been a massive problem. Everyone's been talking about the fog. POI inaccuracies will be fixed, so they are inaccuracies. They're not for any story. I'm trying to think which one was the... Because I would have argued, like, the two little huts, maybe. But that taco building, wherever that was, near the big building chair, just looked ugly. It looked so out of place. Fix incorrect audio effects. Yeah, some of the guns just don't sound right when you're ADSing and when you're shooting. Correcting the OG Season 6 Umbrella Locker name and description. Yeah, apparently it doesn't even have a name, I was hearing, but... there we go. And we do love and appreciate when Fortnite do this, and they have to do it obviously more consistently, which I feel like they have done that this season. But they do fumble occasionally, which I guess outweighs to everyone else. Everyone, is quite not narrow-minded, but very short-sighted in terms of time. We thought they did something good 3 months ago, and they're going to remember it, and something bad they done 9 months ago. That's just a human effect, shall we say. But yeah. So at least they come out and say something. They could have easily have just not have told us anything. And just said, oh yeah, okay, whatever. So that's good to see. My Epic better not don't add the sword for OG Season 7. Yeah, but that... So, hold on. Wait. So, about adding the Infinity Blade. So, you say they better not add the Infinity Blade for next season. So, where's the balance in authentic OG or a balanced OG but not authentic? Because the Infinity Blade was near. The mechs were near. Like, that's just sending mixed messages, isn't it, to Fortnite? It must be such hard in meetings when you're Epic Games trying to work out what to do with Fortnite modes, where you got half the community saying one thing when they want authentic OG, because that's how the mode was advertised. OG is OG. What was it? This is OG. So having the Infinity Blade for Season 7, as much as overpowered it is, it's OG. As overpowered the combat shotgun was, it's OG. Actually, that's a really good weapon, but it was overpowered. That literally changed the face of the Fortnite World Cup, that did. But the mechs, as overpowered they were, that is authentic OG. So what's the argument? Is the argument balanced OG or authentic OG? And that's a decision you will have to make, chat. But anyway. Oh no, to add about the whole red cube, purple cube argument, I don't care, but don't do something. Anyway, I'm not really going to get into that because I've seen some leaks that suggest when the corruption starts taking over the house on the floating island, some of the cubes are red, which actually is a bit more confusing to me, because I can understand how the cubes can interchange color, but for the corruption to have two different colors, I'm trying to think back to like the chapter 2 end event where you saw the cube queen pull corruption out, and they were just all purple, weren't they? I don't think there's ever been a depiction of two cube colors in effect going off each other. I mean, you could say the caretakers kind of work, because the caretakers were purple and a bit gold, so maybe it does work. But why? I don't know. I don't know why your stance is so strong on this. To the point that you would undo 6 months of story. You got to remember, we also had the tomato head turn up in chapter 6. This red colour, the portal, the random portal that opened up a few months ago, but maybe not, a few weeks ago on the OG. Sorry, on chapter 6. Anyway, I simply call this the flip side paradox. And by the flip side paradox, I find it funny if anyone believes that the imagined order did not know about the flip side. Because if anyone says the imagined order did not know about the flip side, or knew that the 7 were on the flip side, are missing key elements. And yes, the flip side is a very cool story point, but it makes no sense if you're presuming that the flip side, that the imagined order did not know about the flip side. So that's why I call it the flip side conundrum. Anything like this, I just call it, because it's not worth trying to work out why the cube is now purple, because there's no balance to it. But there was to the flip side. 2 warning systems. The island is at 56%. The island is flipping over. Warning system is in place that must have been built. You just don't randomly have warning systems telling you about something that you didn't know was going to happen. And then the Foundation said, gyro system, disable it. So they had a gyro system in place to keep the island from flipping. And then you're meant to presume that the imagined order just let this. Either you imagine the imagined order let the 7 on the other side to build a statue of the Foundation. Anyway, so my statement about the cube is just okay. It's now purple. I can't even be bothered trying to go, well, purple, blue, red, 0 point blue, red cube. I can't be bothered. Anyway, I think that's definitely a video chat. So, say bye, YouTube, to the videos. Anyway, guys, comment down below what you make of these changes to Fortnite OG. And if you did enjoy this video, leave a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And until next time, it's been your boy, mrjayowhy. Until next time, bye-bye. That's somewhat a video, I have no idea. The IO definitely did know about the flip side. They just chose to use Apollo instead of Artemis. Yeah, but the 7 would have been near the 0 point, and the 7 wants to... The imagined order wants to have full control of the 0 point. So you just say, they would have just rested on their lols, and it makes no sense. To what people think the imagined order are, it just makes no sense. And this is what I mean, the flip side conundrum. You're trying to work avenues to make yourself feel better about something. Like, I don't mind theorizing, but it comes to a certain point when you're really trying hard to try, when there isn't any sort of... The evidence suggests otherwise. Or the evidence, what does suggest the imagined order to be pushovers by allowing the 7 just sit on the other side. I think they were chill at that point. They weren't chill at that point. The imagined order absolutely messed over the 7 during the end event of Chapter 1. They manipulated them to carry out the end event. And then went, oh well, the 0 point is now ours. The 7 are gone. Don't know where they've ended up. Paradigm's off on the moon. The 0 point is ours and our plans can continue. And then when the Foundation, when Jonesy called the Foundation went to go and knock Jones out. I don't think they were in speaking terms. So, and then you had Sloan say, don't go to the 7. What on the other side of the islands? Again, I will say it. The flip side conundrum. It's a great thing. It's fun. I like the flip side. I like the iron flipping over. But trying to work out the 7 when there the whole time is... And the imagined order didn't know about it is... It's a conundrum. The flip side conundrum. What are you having here? Again, what, your friends close, your enemies closer sort of thing. The red cube is something that needs to happen in Fortnite. There's literally red cubes on the cube cradle. As well as purple, and I'm pretty sure I think there's some couple greens in there as well. If this is a way to introduce a red cube and what it means for the storyline, then commit to it. And if it does turn, I'm sure there'd be a little reason as to why it turned purple again, but if it doesn't turn back, I just find it a very pointless avenue, very pointless adventure. Like, what was that for? You're literally story baiting. You're trying to make something that was never meant to be more intriguing to anyone else to play the game, to go to the events, to watch the cube. You're telling me if it had been a purple cube, people would have been half as interested. Look, it's Kevin. People would have been interested, but you think more people would have been more interested if it was a purple cube. But you don't. Again, you're assuming what OG is. Now, typical. What is OG? You're assuming what OG is. From a lore perspective, were you talking a lore perspective? Were you talking you're then saying two different things here? You're saying a lore perspective or authentic perspective? What are people going to choose during the Unvaulting event? See, that's a funny conundrum. It's going to be the drum gun. Because if it's not the drum gun, then it's not authentic, is it? OG, original, the original way the game was played. And that's a pointless discussion to be having, and then we'll just stop. Because we're arguing two different things. That's kind of the whole idea of the mode, and by the way it was advertised. Oh, well, no, I agree with that. But if that's not the case anymore, they should say it rather than trying this half-cooked, baked idea where they don't commit to either. So you prefer that? Leon, he's talking about two different things. This is a pointless discussion. Taking it from that angle is just pointless. Since the cube is purple, do you think the OG mode isn't canon to the story? Exactly. Now, typical, tell me what I'm meant to do with that information. Tell me what I'm meant to do with that information. That would be my assumption, Rapid, as well. Since the cube is purple, do you think OG mode isn't canon to the story? Because you're trying to argue that OG needs to be OG. If OG is OG, OG wouldn't change story. OG wouldn't be relevant to Chapter 6. Tomato Head wouldn't travel to the Chapter 6 map. The OG season wouldn't be canon. So you think Fortnite's just reverted the whole thing and gone back on everything they've just done to make the cube purple and to make all the changes? That's what I'm arguing with you, Typical, and that's what you're trying to put across with your narrative. Look, OG should have stayed OG at the first place. Once they started changing it, they've committed, in my opinion. Looks like it. What? Canon. So then you're happy. Oh, look. I think OG needs to go out the window to the point that that wasn't. So now we're on a half-baked ground where you're not happy, I'm not happy, no one's happy, because it's like, look, maybe there's a law reason as to why it's gone purple. And as I've already discussed earlier in the stream, it looks like some of the corrupted tentacles of the cubes, once they start going around the house, will be red. So maybe we'll both be happy again. But then again, it's not OG, is it? Personally, I saw more people complaining about the red cube than not. No, and that's just not true. that's just not true. I think they were complaining about the effects of the red cube. Granted, but that isn't the same as the cube actually being red. I think people were complaining about the speed effect of it, yes. I think people were complaining about the runes having the speed effect as well, not low gravity. That is people not complaining that the cube being red and the story being adapted in that way. That is not what the argument is. That is not what they're saying. You're adding that on. Unless you can present that to me. OG is confirmed as canon. Yeah, but then people also want OG to be OG, and then OG wouldn't be canon to the story because the story would remain the same, and it wouldn't be. That's what I'm arguing. What, and just throw the whole arc of the story away for it to be original? Can you not see why your argument is counterintuitive? I feel like I do a lot of like, what's the word I'm looking for? I do a lot of like, oh well, that's fine. I'm sure someone will be happy here, and it's like, oh, I'm happy now, so forego the rest of you, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Maybe OG is the flip side, yeah, but then that's not OG. Why would the map appear in Fortnitemares? That didn't happen originally. I know I'm chat. I know I'm sounding petty here, but I'm just trying to get the point across. If you want to argue that, you can argue that, but then you can't take and give at the same time. What was the other thing I'm going to talk about? Yeah, but you're still saying maybe OG is the flip side of Chapter 6 and the red energy leaked into Chapter 6 map. What? But what? I mean, not a bad shout, but at the same time, how would we... Again, it's a flip side conundrum. Cool, but... Why? I guess some stuff I say don't make sense, probably because I'm knackered, but what I'm trying to say is, I want it to be OG, and by the way, it could be canon because it can be a parallel universe. What, so everything from now playing exactly the same as it did originally? I mean, we've already said that it could be the same up until the end event, and then the end event can be anything it wants to be, because that's when chapter 1 ends, so... It's the low-key conundrum in, like, season 1 of low-key when he went to Pompeii, and he said, well, we can do anything here because it doesn't matter because it gets destroyed. So it doesn't affect time because there's nothing to really establish time. There's no history in there because it... Well, there is history in Pompeii, but there's no history up until the day because everything gets destroyed. Oh yeah, see, that's another point. I understand. In this, the two cube colors speak completely different languages, and they're different to each other. But all the runes changed to the old runes. Like, and that's if they had just turned the red runes purple, I would have been a bit more to make a logical conclusion from that to go, okay, maybe there might be something going on here. But because they changed everything back, the bunker's gone off, the moon's gone white. The moon is now being shined off the light of the sun, so it appears just brighter and not red or pink. The nom sign, which was moon, is now changed back to noms. So it's like, oh, well, that's law. But it's just pretty much, it just reversed everything that's just happened. And then we got several map changes that were bugs. They shouldn't have just done the red cube in the first place. But the point is they did do it. So they had a set... That's why I said at the time, and I've been saying it for months, that Fortnite needs to come out and say, look, the intention was to have OG... a 1-for-1, but it's not anymore. So now, today, they do this thing where it's like, well, we're going to make it more authentic play, and then what? Not acknowledge the whole thing with the red cube. But you're happy. Can you see? Can you acknowledge how it just sounds stupid what you're trying to get across here? At that point, you just need to acknowledge the ball up you done and just go with it, because you're like, oh yeah, but I just want OG. So yeah, forget about the red cube, forget about all the changes that have been happening, and just revert everything back. And then, oh yeah, well, at least we got OG. Oh yeah, but then Fortnite shouldn't have done that in the first place. I just prefer everything to be original way. It can be annoying for others, I guess, but I'm not bothered that they changed it. Yeah, see, this is a problem. This is a problem with me where I'm trying to think of it logically from my point of view, logically from your point of view, and try and keep it balanced. But at the end of the day, Fortnite OG should have been OG, because it was advertised OG. But the moment they did the whole BS with the red butterfly, the red rift, then the red cube, and then we're all saying this, and hypothetically, the red cube, the freaking bits in the house is going to change red apparently anyway. So the red cube essentially is going to come back at some point. But you do all that, and you don't make it OG. At that point, Fortnite needs to acknowledge the fact that it might not be OG. The gameplay might be, but the story still might do. Why might change? But now we're just nowhere. As I keep saying, theories are okay. As I said in the tweet, I didn't really say it on here. Theories are like a building. If you don't have enough bricks for that building, enough foundation, the building's gonna fall apart and collapse. And this is what you have here. You don't have any substance to the matter, and it's just a mess. Pose Zero, how's it going? They should have just done it and went along with it and not reversed it. Fortnitemares don't have to be purple. Red is a colour that gives scary vibes too. Well, that's one thing apparently typical, and a few others don't agree with, that red isn't a bad colour. I guess they've never watched a... You know what, I'm not going to say that on YouTube. Oh no, again, I advertise it as OG. But the moment it doesn't become OG, and you get a whole other lot of people going, well, this is intriguing. Like, even people wasn't into lore going, red cube, that's interesting. I wonder what's going on here. Okay, the events might be different. It's kind of cool. Instead, at that point, you got to just acknowledge, okay, the story might gather some momentum elsewhere, but in terms of the weapons, we are going to try and correlate it to more of an OG feel. But then people say, oh yeah, but that would have been given a lore away. Any other franchise does that. Comic Con, Gamescom, whatever con, Hacking Con, I don't know. Whatever it is, you always get a director or showrunner, or even James Gunn with DC at the moment. He's like talking about this and that after the thing and trying to correlate how he sees it coming across. But no, Fortnite, they just put themselves in this pedestal where they can't acknowledge anything further than their nose, and it's just the most annoying thing. So in that post, I reckon they should have mentioned something about the cubes. At least say, I know they teased it and thingy that it was turning back to Perb. I don't really know what they're doing, but they don't have enough credits. They don't have enough points in the bag. They don't have enough cushion, whatever the expression you want to say, to be this breezy with the story. It just feels like a freaking full stop, unfortunately. It just feels like a slam. It just feels like a brake bin. It just feels like you're in a car and someone just pulled the brakes and just like, chill, mate. Yeah, that's also that's not eye of the beholder, but I think the masses. Okay, well, you're in a trapped room and you start seeing red pure from the ceiling. I'm gonna start feeling aggression. I'm gonna start being spooked the hell out and think, oh well, it's been a fun time, but it looks like I'm going to pop off by the end of this, whatever's happening here. Freaking, I'm out in the woods by myself in the freaking wood cabin, and there's a glass, and you hear that boom, and it's just you hear that, and it's just red. You're telling me aggression, not morbid danger, scared. And you're just okay with that, typical. You're just fine with that. Literally, the colour, which for thousands of years, red is satanic, demonic, whatever you want to do, aggression apparently. I can't understand your not acknowledging anything past your own point. Thank you, you're so bad. Mashado, how's it going? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, again, you're saying something with unfounded, and you're just saying something. Didn't Ali Jack and a few others like the cube change? Back or I'm mistaken? I mean, I did see Ali Jack's acknowledge that the cube now deals damage as it originally did. But would he have said the same thing if the cube was still red and it did that? As I said before, you were saying that they hated the red cube, and I said they hated that the red cube was given speed effects, plus it wasn't damaging players, plus when it created runes, instead of having low gravity, it had speed. That's nothing to do with the colour being red, is it? Yeah, I don't know what you say that. um, yeah, Fortnite acknowledged a while ago that it had a problem with the not interested to have actually working as effectively. So I think they did actually remove it for a while because it was just giving false positives or something. I think for me, it's just everything has gone back to the OG way it was back in 2018. Actually, arguably that's very far away from where we are at the moment. But then I just feel happy now. I can now revisit what my favourite season was actually like again. Oh, well, okay. Again, as I said about half an hour ago, we are arguing about two different things. You're arguing that you want the mode to be OG, regardless of him already pushing this narrative with the red cube and the effects that seems to be having also on Chapter 6, because you're now finding your position. I don't care about the college. That's fair enough, man. That's fair enough. I don't know what I meant to say that. Anyway, saying about the OG storyline videos ending. They can't change. No, apparently it can, Rapid. Apparently it can. Everyone's just fine with it. Okay, apparently it can. Anyway, as I've just said now 10 times, that isn't actually what happened because the freaking once the corruption moves up to the house, some of them are going to be red anyway. So even more to add to the confusion. Because that's never been shown, I don't think. Actually, arguably, maybe it's in some aspects, chapter 2. Oh, thank you for Pro Zero for using the word heard us instead of listened. If I heard one more person say listened, I'd lose my mind. Kind of. No, previous. I don't think there's any. I thought this might be the case where it happened, but there would be no. Apart from cubes being used as a never, not never. What is it called? A thingy gate, which I don't think I ever talked about. I never really considered that. So it's just a new. How you meant to foundate anything with something that doesn't actually has never been a thing. Lamar? Oh no, honestly. People are listening to us. I mean, they're always listening. So I think when you used the word Fortnite acted, because I was like, it's a pet peeve of mine. I just don't like to use listens because it's like, because it comes from the point that they don't think they're doing things right, when for other people they might be doing things right. Anyway, red cubes. Anyone? Apparently it's not a thing. Anyway, you're misinterpreting. Typical. You're misinterpreting what I'm saying from letting us. Like, yes, I acknowledge earlier in the argument. Now you let us know with the whole. It'd be a shame if it changed soon or whatever. But it's like, oh, why? So you want Fortnite OG to stay OG? There's no NPCs. There's nothing to further along acknowledge why this happened. So it's just a bit of a lore dump without any lore. Oh yeah, exactly. Because that was in the files to be purple, and then last minute they changed it to red, and then they went, well, here's a purple cube again. Red is just not there. Wait, oh no, it is with the Havoc rocks and also a weird random portal just next to the runes. Makes it more convoluted. Yeah, they didn't change it until the last update. Red just isn't trendy anymore, so sad, so tragic. We don't need nitro in OG. Are you doing it again? You're doing it again! The correlation of the colour and the principles of said colour. I know it's typical for other things, other colours have different properties. I get that. Yeah, I would also say the same. That I would also consider green to be more spooky, but green can also be a healing colour, a colour of tranquility. Same with purple. Purple can be a very calming colour, actually. That sort of dark reds is almost blood red is kind of scary. A luminous sense of what do you want, like dread maybe. To say that one color means one thing is also a bit. It's not that simple. Last purple, last reality, red demons. I mean, not quite, because the cubes are part of the army of the last reality. Oh yeah, that's a point. Literally, that was their whole 5 last year with Mephisto, and that will be their theme this year for actually main chapter 6. The Doja Cat. In chapter 6, I don't care what they do. Different mode, different story. That's not what you said. No. I don't care, but for OG, purple just fits better. I can't explain it, but it just does. Red wouldn't fit OG mode for Fortnitemares. Again, we're arguing two different things. Fairs. Again, the whole where OG is a problem that no one knows. When are you doing a community video when my voice isn't so cracked? We travel to, but this might not even be back in time at this rate. But who knows? Now it's OG apparently. Who knows? You're arguing from a perspective that Fortnite OG must be OG. I'm arguing from a perspective that Fortnite OG didn't stay OG, went on this red cube narrative, and have created this arc. So they should remain with this arc, because that's what they've done. So they needed to acknowledge that, instead of acknowledge some of the changes, but also be allowed to acknowledge what they're doing with said story. So it feels like we've hit a wall. So we're arguing two different sides of the arguments, which you're not going to find agreements on. I know, don't take that as satire, but I've heard some people saying that, and that's why I hate stuff like this, because I'm just like, really, is that what we've come to? I thought the other argument was because 0 point's blue. I thought, oh, it's been consumed by a 0 point, that's why it's now purple. I was just like, well, God, yeah, well, whatever. Well, yeah, I know that rapid, but that's why I've heard about 0 point. But 0 point is neither blue either. I feel like 0 point is meant to be a bright white light, like it appears in the vault, undisturbed. If anything, they changed it because they saw people complaining, and it's not like it's OG. I mean, yeah, but if the more I think about it, I feel like they would have explained it if that was the case. So it's more stranger to why they would have done it. Well, I feel like they've done it, especially as you say, for Fortnitemares, which I did say in my earlier video, my video from the other day. I don't know. Oh, no, I did not mean to do that. What is happening? Fortnitemares lasts pretty much to the end of season 6, and there's a chance of it changing back to red. It's pretty slim. What? Wait, what? It's literally going to change to red. The bits that... I've not said it 11 times now. Also, I find the mini red cubes in the corruption odd. Bit of an odd change. Oh, okay, you did just checking that. So now, exactly. I'm in the main cube, Jay. Yeah, but where's the color coming from then? Exactly, just more convoluted. Who knows? That's my point. Well, I guess that's it. Guys, if you do buy anything at the Fortnite item shop, consider using creator code Mr. Joy in the Fortnite item shop. #, partner. Personally, I think the season was rushed and they didn't spend as much time on it due to Chapter 6. And that's why stuff has happened. I guess so, but literally been in the books. We're gonna do every season, and then do every season. I just don't know. Season 7X probably won't have any changes now. Okay, well. OG storyline videos have been fun then. Too bad they're ending. That's my theory. Oh, no, I guess that's the last theory. Cool. Fortnite inflation? Bro, there's no such thing. Hot watch. Yeah, there was. Who cares about that a second time around? Oh, everyone apparently, because that's the whole point of OG. Right, okay, right, guys. Code mrjayowhy in the Fortnite item shop. I'm done. Quite a lot of people. What in the essence of what we were just talking about? Okay. I get what you're saying, but I find it hard to believe that you're counting that on the same level. Anyway, I'm cooked. I couldn't care. Guys, until next time, it has been your boy, Mr. Jayowhy. Next time, bye.